Hare Krishna. Thank you, Vishwanath, the chanting. Nilacharan. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिते नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Avatar prayer for this week, verses 11 to 20 of Sri Mukundamala Stotra by Sri Kulashekara Alvar. Posted the link in the chat. Anybody wants to try today? Even a few verses. So the first two verses. Okay. Maybe you can practice and then hopefully we can hear somebody this week later. Hari Bol. Okay, I'll continue to sing. भवजलदिगतानां द्वन्द्ववाताहतानां सुतदुहितृकलत्र त्राणभारार्दितानां विषमविषयतो ये मज्जतामाप्लवानां भवति शरणम् एको विष्णुपोतो नराणां भवजलधिमगाधं दुस्तरं निस्तरेयं कथमहमिति चेतो मास्मगा कातरत्वं सरसिजदृशि देवे तारकी भक्तिरेका नरकभिदिनिषण्णा तारयिष्यत् अवश्यम् तृष्णातो ये मदनपवनो धूतमोहूर्मिमाले तारावर्ते तनयसहज ग्राहसङ्घाकुले च संसारक्ये महति जलधौ मज्जतां नस्त्रिधामन् पादाम्भोजे वरद भवतो भक्तिनावं प्रयच्छ पृथ्वीवेणुरनुपयांशि कणिकः फल्गुस्फुलिङ्गो तेजो निःश्वसनं मरुत्तनुतरं रन्ध्रं सुसूक्ष्मं नभः क्षुद्ररुद्रपितामह प्रभृतयः कीटासमस्तासुरा दृष्टे यत्र सतारको विजयते श्रीपादधूलिकणः हे लोका शृणुता प्रसूतिमरणा व्यधिश्चिकित्सम् इमम् योगाज्ञसमुदहरन्ति मुनयो यं यज्ञवल्क्यादयः अन्तर्ज्योतिरमेयम् एकम् अमृतम् कृष्णख्यम् अपीयतम् तत्पीतं परमौषधं वितनुते निर्वनम् अत्यन्तिकम् हे मृतया परमं हितं शृणुतवो भक्ष्यमि संक्षेपतः संसारार्णवम् अपदूर्मि बहुलं सम्यक् प्रविश्य स्थितः नानाज्ञानमपस्य चेतसि नमो नारायणेति यमम् मन्त्रं सप्रणवं प्रणामसहितं प्रवर्तयध्वं मुहुः नाथेन पुरुषोत्तमे त्रिजगताम् एकाधिपे चेतसा सेव्ये स्वस्य पदस्य दातरि परे नारायणे तिष्ठति यं कञ्चित् पुरुषाधमं कतिपय ग्रामेशम् अल्पार्थदम् सेवायै मृगयामहे नरमहो मूढा वराका वयम् बद्धेनाञ्जलिना नटेन शिरसा गात्रैः सरोमोद्गमैः कण्ठेन स्वरगद्गदेन नयने नोद्गीर्णवासाम्बुना बाष्पाम्बुना नित्यं त्वच्चरणारविन्दयुगला ध्यानामृता स्वादिनाम् अस्माकं सरसीरुहाक्ष सततं सम्पद्यतां जीवितम् यत्कृष्णा प्रणिपातधूलिधवलं तद्वर्ष्म तद्वै शिरस्ते नेत्रे तमसोज्जिहिते सुरुचिरे याभ्यां हरिर्दृश्यते सा बुद्धिर्विमलेन्दुशङ्खधवला या माधवाध्यायिनी सा जीवामृतवर्षिणी प्रतिपदं या स्तौति नारायणम् जिह्वे कीर्तय केशवं मुररिपुं चेतो भज श्रीधरम् पाणिद्वन्द्वसमर्चयाच्युतकतः श्रोत्रद्वयत्वं शृणु कृष्णं लोकय लोचनद्वयहरेर्गच्छाङ्घ्रियुग्मालयम् जिग्रघ्राणमुकुन्दपादतुलसीं मूर्धन्यमाधोक्षजम् श्री मुकुंदमाला स्तोत्र की जय। कुलशेखर आलवार महाराज की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Anybody would like to read the translations of verses 11 to 20?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please go ahead, Mataji.
The people in this vast ocean of birth and death are being blown about by the winds of material dualities. As they flounder in the perilous waters of sense indulgence, with no boat to help them, they are sorely distressed by the need to protect their sons, daughters, and wives. Only the boat that is Lord Vishnu can save them. Dear mind, do not bewilder yourself by anxiously thinking, how can I cross this fathomless and impassable ocean of material existence? There is one who can save you, devotion. If you offer her to the lotus-eyed Lord, the killer of Narakasura, she will carry you across this ocean without fail. O Lord of the three worlds, we are drowning in the vast ocean of samsara, which is filled with the waters of material hankering, with many waves of illusion, whipped up by the winds of lust, with whirlpools of wives, and with vast schools of sharks and other sea monsters who are our sons and brothers. O giver of all benedictions, please grant me a place on the boat of devotion that is your lotus feet. Once our Savior has been seen, the whole earth becomes no greater than a speck of dust. All the waters of the ocean become mere droplets. The totality of fire becomes a minute spark. The wind becomes just a faint sigh. And the expanse of space becomes a tiny hole. Great lords like Rudra and Grandfather Brahma become insignificant, and all the demigods become like a small insects. Indeed, even one particle of dust from our Lord's feet conquers all. O people, please hear of this treatment for the disease of birth and death. It is the name of Krishna, recommended by Yajnavalkya and other expert yogis steeped in wisdom. This boundless, eternal inner light is the best medicine. For when drunk, it bestows complete and final liberation. Just drink it. O mortal beings, you have submerged yourselves fully in the ocean of material existence, which is filled with the waves of misfortune. Please hear as I briefly tell you how to attain your supreme benefit. Just put aside your various attempts at gaining knowledge and instead being constantly chanting the mantra Om Namo Narayanaya and bowing down to the Lord. Our Master, the personality of Godhead, Narayana, who alone rules the three worlds, whom one can serve in meditation, who happily shares his personal domain, is manifest before us. Yet still we beg for the service of some minor lord of few villages, some lowly man who can meagerly who can only meagerly reward us. Alas, what foolish wretches we are! O lotus-eyed Lord, please sustain our lives as we constantly relish the nectar of meditating on your lotus feet, with our palms prayerfully joined, our heads bowed down, our bodily hair standing up in jubilation, our voices choked with emotions, and our eyes flowing with tears. That head is the loftiest, which is white with dust from bowing down to Lord Krishna. Those eyes are the most beautiful, which darkness has abandoned after they have seen Lord Hari. That intelligence is spotless, like the white glow of the moon or a conch shell, which concentrates on Lord Madhava, and that tongue rains down nectar, which constantly glorifies Lord Narayana. O tongue, praise the glories of Lord Keshava. O mind, worship the enemy of Mura. O hands, serve the Lord of Shri. O ears, hear the topics of Lord Achyuta. O eyes, gaze upon Krishna. O feet, go to the temple of Lord Hari. O nose, smell the tulasi buds on Lord Mukunda's feet. O head, bow down to Lord Adokshaja. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yeah, all of these instructions, like we can, if we see King Kulashekar Alvar is giving us these instructions, if we replace Srila Prabhupada here, it's almost as if this is what Srila Prabhupada was trying to preach as he came to America, right? And yesterday we saw how he was in Butler and preaching across the universities, across the YMCA, at the Lions Club, and all the places, and he was reflecting on that poem that he had written again, that if this transcendental message penetrates their heart, then they will be very much gladdened and they'll be liberated from this dualities, from the miseries of uh, life and death. So wonderful. It was at first testing ground of Srila Prabhupada, Butler. And I think we saw yesterday how he was now feeling that actually this Butler was more like a butter. People of Butler, Pennsylvania, hearts were like fresh butter. They were melting by hearing this transcendental message. So he was also feeling gladdened that his message was being received very nicely by the American people. And yeah, he was also very happy that Sumati Morarji had also written back to him, and how she had mentioned that he should only come back after he was feeling better, and that after he had accomplished his mission. So that gave him a lot of confidence to pursue further. And then he was about to leave the butter like butler to go to New York on the way to Pittsburgh or Philadelphia first. So let's see, we'll continue with chapter 14. Anybody would like to read today?
I can read, Prabhu.
Anandini Mataji. Yes, please go ahead, Mataji.
Chapter 14, Struggling Alone. I used to sit in the back and listen to his meetings silently. He was speaking all impersonal nonsense, and I kept my silence. Then one day he asked if I would like to speak, and I spoke about Krishna consciousness. I challenged that he was speaking manufactured philosophy and all nonsense from Shankaracharya. He tried to back out and said he was not speaking Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya was speaking. I said, "You are representing him. This is the same thing." He then said to me, "Swamiji, I like you very much, but you cannot speak here." But although our philosophy differed and he would not let me speak, he was kind and I was nice to him. Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada knew no one in New York City, but he had a contact, Dr. Ramamurthy Mishra. He had written Dr. Mishra from Butler, enclosing the letter of introduction Parmanand Mehra had given him in Bombay. He had also phoned Dr. Mishra, who welcomed Prabhupada to join him in New York. At the Port Authority bus terminal, a student of Dr. Mishra's met him as he arrived from Philadelphia and escorted him directly to an Indian festival in the city. Then Prabhupada met Dr. Mishra as well as Ravi Shankar and his brother, the dancer Uday Shankar. Prabhupada then accompanied Dr. Mishra to his apartment at 33 Riverside Drive beside the Hudson River. The apartment was on the 14th floor, and had large windows overlooking the river. Dr. Mishra gave Prabhupada a room to himself. Dr. Mishra was a dramatic, showy personality given to flashing glances and making expressive gestures with his hands. He regularly used words like lovely and beautiful, presenting an artfully polished image of what a guru should be. He was what some New Yorkers referred to as an uptown Swami. Before coming to America, Dr. Mishra had been a Sanskrit scholar and a guru as well as a doctor. He had written a number of books, such as the textbook of yoga psychology and self analysis and self knowledge, a work based on the teachings of the monistic philosopher Shankara. After he came to the United States, he continued with his medical profession, but as he began taking disciples, he gradually dropped his practice. Although a sannyasi, he did not wear the traditional saffron dhoti and kurta, but instead wore tailored Nehru jackets and white slacks. His complexion was dark, whereas Prabhupada's was golden, and he had thick black hair. At 44, he was young enough to be Prabhupada's son. Dr. Mishra had been suffering from bad health when Srila Prabhupada came into his life, and Prabhupada's arrival seemed the perfect medicine. Ramamurti Mishra. His Holiness Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Ji really knocked me down with love. He was really an incarnation of love. My body had become a skeleton, and he really brought me back to life. His cooking, and especially his love and his devotion to Lord Krishna, I was very lazy in the matter of cooking, but he would get up and have ready. Dr. Mishra appreciated that Prabhupada, cooking with a precision of a chemist, would prepare many dishes and that he had a gusto for eating. Ramamurti Mishra. It was not bread he gave me. He gave me prasadam. This was life, and he saved my life. At the time, I was not sure I would live, but his habit to eat on time, whether I was hungry or not, that I very much liked. He'd get up and say, "All right, this is Bhagavad Prasadam," and I would say, "All right." Joanne Sewell, an old student of Dr. Mishra's, often saw Srila Prabhupada and her teacher together at the Riverside Drive apartment. Joanne Sewell. I have a memory of Swamiji as a child in the sense of his being very innocent, a very simple person, very pure. The impression I have from Dr. Mishra is that he regarded Swamiji as a father figure who was kind and good, but basically the words most often used referring to Swamiji were like a child, meaning that he was a simple in a classical, beautiful sense. Dr. Mishra mentioned to me when I was first introduced to Swamiji that he was a very holy man, very religious, wrapped in God consciousness. Swamiji was very sweet. I myself remember him as a very, very good man, even in the practical details of living in New York, which seemed to involve him very much. Because he was a practical man and was looking for the best place to begin his work. I remember very well that he was always careful about washing his clothes out every night. I would come in and find a group of students in the living area, Dr. Mishra's apartment, and in the bedroom would be hung Swamiji's orange robes. Srila Prabhupada would sometimes discuss with Mr. Mishra the aim of his visit to America, expressing his spiritual master's vision of establishing Krishna consciousness in the West. He requested Dr. Mishra to help him, but Dr. Mishra would always refer to his own teaching work, which kept him very busy, and to his plans for leaving the country soon. After a few weeks, when it became inconvenient to maintain Prabhupada at the apartment, Dr. Mishra shifted him to his Hatha Yoga studio on the fifth floor of 100 West 72nd Street near Central Park. The large studio was located in the center of the building and included an office and an adjoining private room where Prabhupada stayed. It had no windows. Philosophically, at complete odds with Prabhupada, Dr. Mishra accepted the absolute truth in the impersonal feature or Brahman to be supreme. Prabhupada stressed the supremacy of the personal feature or Bhagavan, following the Vedic theistic philosophy that the most complete understanding of the absolute truth is personal. Bhagavad Gita says that the impersonal Brahman is subordinate to Bhagavan, and as an emanation from him, just as sunshine is an emanation from the sun planet. This conclusion had been taught by the leading traditional acharyas of ancient India, such as Ramanuja and Madhva, and Srila Prabhupada was in disciplic succession from Madhva. Dr. Mishra, on the other hand, followed Shankara, who taught that the impersonal presence of the Absolute Truth is all in all and that the personality of Godhead is ultimately an illusion. Whereas Prabhupada's theistic philosophy accepted the individual spiritual self, Atma, as an eternal servant of the supreme spiritual being Bhagwan. Dr. Mishra's view accepted the spiritual self as not an individual. Rather, his idea was that since each person is identical with God, the supreme Brahman, there is no need to worship God outside oneself. As Dr. Mishra would put it, everything is one. Prabhupada challenged, if each of us is actually the supreme, then why is this supreme suffering and struggling in the material world? Dr. Mishra would counter that the supreme is only temporarily covered by illusion, and that through Hatha Yoga and meditation, one would become enlightened, understanding it is all the supreme. Prabhupada would again challenge, but if the supreme could be covered by illusion, then illusion would be greater than God, greater than the supreme. Prabhupada considered Dr. Mishra a Mayavadi because of his inadvertent acceptance that Maya, illusion, is greater than the absolute truth. For Srila Prabhupada, not only was the impersonal philosophy unpalatable, it was an insult to the personality of Godhead. According to Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 724 9.11, unintelligent men who know me not think that I have assumed this form and personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is changeless and supreme. Fools deride me when I appear in this human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all that be. Lord Chaitanya had also strongly refuted the Mayavad philosophy. Everything about the Supreme Personality of Godhead is spiritual, including his body, opulence, and paraphernalia. Mayavad philosophy, however, covers his spiritual opulence and advocates the theory of impersonalism. Before coming to America, Srila Prabhupada had written in his Bhagavatam purports, the ambitious Mayavadi philosophers desire to merge into the existence of the Lord. This form of mukti, liberation, means denying one's individual existence. In other words, it is a kind of spiritual suicide. It is absolutely opposed to the philosophy of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga offers immortality to the individual conditioned soul. If one follows the Mayavad philosophy, he misses his opportunity to become immortal and giving up the material body. In the words of Lord Chaitanya, Mayavadi Krishna Aparadhi, Mayavadi impersonalists are great offenders unto Lord Krishna. Thus, Lord Chaitanya had concluded that if one ever hears the commentary of Shankara, one's entire spiritual life is spoiled. Dr. Mishra was content to align himself with the philosophy of Shankara and allowed Sri Prabhupada to stay with Lord Krishna and the Bhagavad Gita. But Srila Prabhupada pointed out that even Shankara accepted that the personality of Godhead Krishna or Narayan exists eternally beyond the material world. Therefore, he is a transcendental person. Narayana Paro Avyaktat. A mendicant, Prabhupada was temporarily dependent on the God will of his Mayavadi acquaintance, on the goodwill, of his Mayavadi acquaintance, with whom he regularly ate and conversed, and from whom he accepted shelter. But what a great inconvenience it was. He had come to America to speak purely and boldly about Krishna, but he was being restricted. In Butler, he had been confined by his host's middle class sensibilities. Now he was silenced in a different way. He was treated with kindness, but he was considered a threat. Dr. Mishra could not allow his students to hear the exclusive praise of Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Spending most of this time in his new room, Srila Prabhupada kept at his typing and translating. But when Dr. Mishra held his yoga classes, Prabhupada would sometimes come out and lead a kirtan or lecture. Robert Nelson, one of Prabhupada's first young sympathizers in New York, I went to Dr. Mishra's service and Dr. Mishra talked. Swamiji was sitting on a bench, and then all of a sudden, Dr. Mishra stops the service and he gets a big smile and says, Swamiji will sing us a song. I think Dr. Mishra wouldn't let him speak. Somebody told me Dr. Mishra didn't want him to preach.
We can stop here today. Thank you, Hanaki Mataji, for
Sorry
reading.
for big breaks, Prabhu.
No, no, no. Yes, anything that you'd like to share? Anything that you liked?
So I think from today's reading, we see how Prabhupada was, you know, in giving Dr. Mishra both things. So he was in New York, he was all by himself, but he was with Dr. Mishra was a Mayavadi. But as a devotee, he pure devotee. He was kind. He cooked prasadam for Dr. Mishra, but at the same time, he was firm on his philosophy. He did not compromise. So even though he was living with him and he was on sort of his mercy for his upkeep, but he made clear that the Supreme Lord Bhagwan is the ultimate philosophy, is the ultimate absolute truth. And Mayavad philosophy will ultimately result in spiritual suicide. So I really like that when we come into Krishna consciousness, sometimes we bring this philosophy hammer, and we want to hammer down everybody with our philosophy and be like kind of like mean little spiritual people. But you have to take the person from where they are, and your you know I think the biggest thing is you have to show them that you are, what you are is you have changed in a way that you're a nicer person, but at the same time stick to your philosophy, whether that person adopts or not. But that person will see the good human that you have transformed to, and hopefully at some time will get inspired from your own behavior, instead of telling somebody that you are wrong in terms of what you practice. I feel like you put it out there and then leave it up to that, but don't leave your niceness in that being. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji. Yeah, I mean, he was literally living like, he was a embodiment of humility and tolerance that we talk about, right? So, yeah, that reminded me, there was one thing when like when we were reading Srila Prabhupada Ligamit before, and Prabhupada had that pharmacy in Allahabad. I think it was Prayag Pharmacy. Once his god brother, one of his god brothers, went to the pharmacy, and then he said that, "Oh, Abhay Babu, I need this tonic for like something. He had some sickness, so then." Babu gave some tonic, and then finally, then he says, "Well, I don't need this tonic, Abhay Babu. Actually, I need the tonic that will increase my love, my love of God." So, so then he says, "Well, I know the formula of the tonic, but the tonic is not ready yet." So then he says, "Then what is the formula?" Then he says the formula of verse number 3 of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Trinadapi sunichena tavarapi saishnana amani namanadena kirtanya sadhari. So that, yeah, the humility and tolerance, being more humbler than a blade of grass, being more tolerant. So that's, yeah, like you said, in this case we are seeing like he's being very humble, and he's also being very tolerant of the other side, right? So and those are virtues with which finally, yeah, we see, and when we have that, then we can do constant chanting of the holy names, be constant reciter of the holy names. And yeah, as long as they are not being offensive, because that's one of the offenses to the holy name, right? If somebody is criticizing the Lord or criticizing the Vaishnavas, then yes, then the anger comes out of the devotee, right? But until then, even in Butler, like you said, yeah, he was like when they were eating meat, some of the guests who were coming, they were smoking, right? But he was saying, think nothing of it, right? So he was tolerating. Yeah. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay. Any other thoughts? Meenakshi Mohini, yesterday you said you had something to speak. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody wants to share anything that you liked or loved or learned something new today from the reading?
Yeah, Prabhu, it is good learning. Thank you, Anandini Mataji, giving a sight of this whole today's reading, like how to maintain our peace, our harmony with our mode of goodness along with Krishna consciousness. Yeah, that's where we have to stick to that without judging or going against others' philosophy and all. But we have to be conscious and we have to share our spirit as much as possible. That is our duty, but no fingering out anyone.
Thank you, Navin Prabhu. Seema Mataji, you're joining today after some time. Anything that you want to share? Okay. Dr. Seema Mataji is busy right now. Okay. Anything else from anybody before we conclude? Okay, if not, then wonderful. So at 6:31, we'll was here for today, and we'll end with Vaishnavanam prayers as we do. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavan ki jai. Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Have a great day, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna.